Good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Angels. I'll wait for people to start clicking on. I want to talk about our guest, Emily Harrison. She is super exciting and fantastic, and a lot of people know about her, and I think a few people don't. So I decided to reach out, follow my guidance, and invite her on with Coffee of the Angels so she can talk a little bit more about herself and kind of about what she does. So welcome everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Michelle. Lori. I hope everybody has their coffee and is ready to watch another episode of Coffee with the Angels. Good morning, everybody. So I'll wait for people to click on. I know, I'm super excited. I was excited she said yes and wanted to be a part of my show. So we'll wait for people to click on, and she's gonna add good morning, Dallas. She's going to come on and add button, but I do want to talk a little bit about her. She left behind her Hollywood career and she created Business and Healing for light workers. She is director and founder of the Akashic Academy. Emily Harrison. Hopefully, let's see if she's on yet. I'm so excited she's our guest today, you guys. So if you guys could do me a huge favor, we're exchanging energy here. It's super early for her in Pacific time, so I was like, is this too early for you? And she's like, no, I can make it work. I can make it work. So please, as an energy exchange, if you guys could hit the share button to your groups, to your intuitive groups, to your page, that would be amazing. We're doing awesome. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, we're doing an energy exchange. So if you guys could hit that share and like button, that would be awesome. I'm gonna add her on. Okay, sweet. Let me. Oh no. I think you're gonna have to click the button that says add me. Let me see. If I can do it. Here we go. Let me see. Sorry guys. I'm gonna get to figure out another program so it's not so where I'm having to add people. So I gotta move this. I can't add you, Emily, so you might have to click the button where it says add yourself. I'm not sure why, because I've got this turned the right way. Oh, there she is. Okay. I think I did it. I think.
Yay! We did it!
It worked! It worked! Hello! Good
Hello! Thank you guys all for waiting for us to figure this out. That's good stuff.
I know. Yay, so thank you so much for being my guest. Everybody is so excited. There's a lot of, I think we have similar followers, so there's a lot of people who follow you, and then there's a lot of people who don't know who you are. So I have a lot of questions, but I want to kind of get into first, why don't you tell everybody kind of a little bit about you?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you. I love that I could just roll out of the shower and just cruise on in here. I did put a little bit of my blush on, but
there you go.
That's a story about why I make my cheeks so rosy that I'll have to save for another day, because I want to tell you guys a little bit more about me and my family and my spirituality if this is the first time you're coming, and we'll talk makeup tips later. So my name is Emily. I am 41 years old. I grew up really small town Midwest, really immersed in the religious scene, Southern Baptist. My mom was a Sunday school teacher. I was all up in church. I was teaching Bible school myself. I was going to church camp, but don't make any mistakes. I was an absolute rebel. I was known in my town for, very small town, right, for sneaking out of my house at night And I always kind of had that like light dark side really working in my energy field. I really loved being in the energy of just like spirituality, I should say, and God and source energy. But religion itself made me feel stifled, made that bad girl part of me, that dark side, really want to explore life in a bigger way. And when I was in college, so I graduated from high school in a small town. I went to college and I was so restless. I'm like, I'm an actress. I think I'm an actress. I don't think I'm like this small town girl. And I had barely ever done a school play before, but I was convinced that this is what I needed to do. So I quit college. I packed up my car. I headed to Hollywood, of all places. And I dove into that scene of Hollywood, and I really learned as I went. I had no idea how agents and managers and lawyers and auditions, how all of this stuff worked. But I was really that kind of go-getter. And I really enjoyed being self-taught, like in college, going to class and trying to learn whatever they were teaching. It just wasn't exciting me. Like I wanted to learn by experiencing life. And so this was a really, really big experience for me. And I loved my time in Hollywood. I really immersed myself in that world and had a lot of success, made a lot of friends, traveled the planet. But ultimately, truthfully, that place was so hard on my soul because you come up against all of your issues. You know, you come up needing validation. You come up against knowing that there is this great essence inside of you, but maybe it takes a while before you can get relaxed enough to let a character come through you. Guys, I hope you're already making the connections. Any of you out there who are channels or who are learning to use your intuitive skills, because it's very, very similar. You know, we begin to feel that stirring inside that there's something bigger. And you really have to dive in and practice and give yourself that time to learn and get better, especially when it comes to our intuitive skills, because for so long, that energy of the divine feminine, which we all have masculine, feminine energy working in us. But that divine feminine energy, that is the essence of this intuition that we all have. It's where our psychic gifts and abilities lie. It's where our ability to heal ourselves lies. And this energy and knowledge is really remerging on the planet right now. But we're learning, we're growing as a consciousness, as a collective. We're learning how to use this. So when I was in Hollywood, while I thought it was about trying to become a huge actress, it was really about a lot of training for what it is that I'm doing now. It was about learning as you go. It was about making mistakes. It was about looking like a fool at times. It was about being dedicated and committed and passionate. And it was about relaxing. It was about the craft of acting, where you have to relax and you have to use your emotions and you have to use your body and use your energy, your internal energy, in a different way than when, you know, we're showing up to jobs, other kind of jobs. I mean, Hollywood is a very like outside of the box kind of thing. But it seriously prepared me for what it is that I'm doing now, which is the founder and director of the Akashic Academy. So as I began to really get truthful and honest with myself in Hollywood and realized, you guys, those of you guys who have hang out with me, you've heard me say this before, the biggest acting job I was doing was on myself and my family, and like trying to feel happy and fulfilled, because truthfully I wasn't. And this spirituality that I brought with me from a child was always still inside of me. And I found meditation and lots of different ways to open up the quantum energy field when I came to Los Angeles. So I was really into using the law of attraction and meditation to further my acting career. So I had a good foundation and basis of how that type of practice would help me manage my own internal energy. And I needed it for my own healing as I was moving and like clearing that vulnerability and sadness and anger and frustration and all the other stuff that was associated with my own story of not experiencing as much success as I wanted to. And guys, seriously, I experienced a decent amount of success in that space, especially if you start looking at statistics. But in my own mind and heart, it just wasn't even a comparison. I was miserable. So I began to really dive into meditation to heal myself, to find a peaceful space. And as I began to do that, many of you guys know who, when you start to meditate or you start to do yoga or you start to create space and awareness for your own consciousness to expand, it begins to happen really quickly. You know, you find your way to different modalities, but it doesn't really matter what you're doing. When you show up with the intention to expand, you're going to find that energy, right? So not only did I begin to find my own peace again, I began to find my own happiness again underneath that, but I began to find a new passion, which was to teach other people this and to use energy healing skills on other people. And I would start just by seriously going absolutely with my intuition and moving energy with my hands, shooting it out my fingers, whatever it was that I was learning as I was going. Scalar energy is a big one. And basically you just put your hands up and make them a conductor of star energy. And I would teach that to my kids to heal themselves. And it was working. And I was having just really, really crazy synchronicities that took me to the place where it was undeniable. Like I got to hang a sign on my door and create a business doing this. I never created a business before. I had no idea how to do that. Was really finding my own way in terms of my own energy skills. Didn't really know what it looked like to show up and do readings or teach people this, but I felt the bigger essence of it. And because I'd followed that before in my life with Hollywood, it was very easy. Like I created that pattern for myself to kind of get excited about following those journeys and paths, even if you don't know exactly where they lead, you know?
Right.
So I went through an Akashic Records program and training, a certification course. And the Akashic Records were the perfect modality for me because of the vast amount of applications they have. Not only is this the etheric field, all the information in the universe, past, present, all possible futures, recorded from a neutral space, but this energy also has its own consciousness. So it has an ability to heal us and shift us and to bring our DNA online to help us make that transition from carbon-based DNA into crystalline DNA, to bring our multidimensional skills forward, to understand life in such a more dynamic way that, in my opinion, this was the most powerful ascension tool on the planet at this time. I also believe that it's important for each one of us who feel curiosity, called, whatever word you want to use, for being pulled to learning about this kind of energy. We need to recognize that there are more modalities as well. And we need to be bringing information in and creating modalities that are applicable to where we're at, what we're experiencing right now in our society, so that we can heal collectively. And all of that information is available within that etheric field. So the Akashic Records really allows us to assimilate a lot of information, to create our own healing protocols and modalities for people that we're working with. And as soon as I got into that class, it was like I was home. It was like the information was just waking up in me. And after I became a certified practitioner, very soon I realized I wanted to teach people how to do this. I went back to my biblical roots. I'm like, give a man a fish, teach him how to fish. So I created a course to walk people step by step through this process of initiation into the records, knowing how to use the records, but also healing yourself and moving through just dramatic self-love as you go through this process. And then I needed to learn how to create a business with all of this stuff I had. So as I continued to, dive in and learn, I was self-taught for probably about a year, following whatever information came up into my awareness. And then I decided, nope, time for a coach now. And that's when I met the awesome coach, Nick Pereira, also known as Nikula Das, because he is a spiritual initiate as well. And our paths, as we began to know each other more deeply and get to know each other's energetic blueprint and also mission here, we realized just how aligned that was. And he became my partner at the Akashic Academy and has created this space for not only me to share the gifts of the Akashic Records, but together we're creating this amazing community where all light workers, because the growth never stops, right? We have to continue to grow and expand and sharpen our skills, where they can come and learn, they can plug into weekly workshops, They can become trained in the Akashic records. We have a network. We want to create platforms for other light workers to have shows to share their message. We've been able to create a magazine. So really not only sharing this wisdom, but creating these opportunities for other light workers, not only to continue to grow and expand, but to share that in a bigger way. And this family that we're creating, this community that we're creating, is the perfect environment because there's so much love and there's so much non-judgment and there's so much knowledge, not just from Nick and I, but it's a collective of knowledge that is creating this phenomenal space for light workers to really step into their highest potential like never before.
That's awesome.
How's that in a nutshell?
I like it. I like it. So when did you have like your awakening or realize you had these gifts?
Oh, that's a great question. There were lots of different points along the way. Like I had hunches. Actually, it started out more like I wanted to be psychic. You know, like as a kid, I would tell my friends, I'm psychic. And they'd be like, you're full of shit. And I wasn't really like reading their minds at that point. I did feel when I was a kid that I could focus my energy on particular trees and move wind, or like and move the leaves. But I think I wanted to be considered that special psychic gifted child more than I really was at that point in time. I began to have more synchronicities, more things coming up that were kind of like, oh, well, that's what a coincidence that is, right? Once you get enough of those where you can't deny the synchronicity anymore, you start, okay, all right, I'm getting this. I don't know that I really felt super comfortable saying that I was psychic until I had the experience before I learned to read the Akashic records. And this was my tipping point where I was like, I got to do it. I got to learn something. I was helping a neighbor of mine who had shattered his ankle. And his ankle wasn't healing well. And I was just playing, using my tuning fork. I had him put on solfeggio music. I'm just waving my tuning fork around. And then all of a sudden, his father, who had passed, who I have no idea, this man, I mean, I really had only known the neighbor for probably 6 or 8 months at this point in time. Didn't know a lot about the injury. Dad showed up in spirit and began delivering such specific information that it was undeniable that it was him, down to his name.
Right.
But it wasn't like this, guys. It wasn't like, oh, my name is Bob. It wasn't like that. It was like I felt him coming in and I was communicating telepathically and I was like, all right, what's your name then? And I was getting actually Bob was the name that was coming in, but it wasn't Bob. He was like, it's Bob, but it's not Bob. It's a J name, but it's short like Bob. And a J name, Bob. And so when I was talking with my friend later to confirm the information, I was like, hey, what's your dad's name? And he goes, oh, my dad's name was Alan. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Because I was getting, and so I go to explain the Bob, but not Bob, but short like Bob, but a J name, Bob. And he goes, oh my God, my dad's middle name was Jay, and he went by Jay. J-A-Y. Right? I know. And the rest of the information that came in was so healing for their relationship, but it had that same impact. Right. And at that point, I was like, all right, well, this psyche thing must be real. Furthermore, it must be something that each of us can develop because it's not something that I recognize in myself from a young age, but it was something that I was connected to and curious about. And the more I began to meditate and the more I began to recognize there are very specific exercises that you can do that will increase your psychic abilities. I'm like, hey, this is a skill. This is like lifting weights. These are muscles that you can work out. And it's important that people believe that and they understand that and that they experience that. And our society as it is right now, although we're shifting and bringing more of this energy present, a lot of people, you still look crazy if you start talking about, you know, oh, I knew that was going to happen, or I had a dream that was going to happen, or whatever it is that you want to share about, you know, how your abilities are working. So that's, my awakening process, I would say it was slow and steady. There are definitely big markers along the way for me. but I didn't have one of those like in a moment awakening experiences like some people have. It's been drawn out over the past 41 years.
That's okay. I like that. I know, and we have, yeah, I like it how we have similar stories about the self-taught, because I was only taught by spirit. Mm-hmm. So I think it's fascinating, and yeah, I think it's awesome. So I understand, because everyone's like, well, when does your awakening start? I'm like, well, happened many times. Like there was, little sections, and if you put it back together, you know how it is. When you look back, you're like, oh, that was one, that was one, yeah. That was one. But when you're in the moment, you just don't realize it. And I thought all of these gifts were normal. I thought everybody had them. I just didn't know I was the different one. So that's fantastic. So what about your children? So how do your kids resonate with new mom? I want to say new mom from Hollywood mom to energy worker, healer, teacher, coach.
Oh, that's intuitive. A good question. It's been so gradual. Actually, my growth is as gradual as their growth, because when you see kids every day, all of a sudden time will go by and you notice they've gotten way bigger, but you don't necessarily see it as it's happening because you're with them every day.
Yeah.
And I've always been so open and passionate about what I do. I feel like the transition was pretty seamless. I mean, I had been teaching them energy healing stuff and meditating with them and giving them different crystals for things for a long time. So I don't think it was much of a thing for them.
That's good.
Which is probably beautiful, because it created powerful and safe space for me to transition. Yeah. And kids love you no matter what. So long as you show up for them and you're there in that space with them. I know not everybody has that relationship with their mom or had that relationship with your mom, but if you were lucky enough to have that, your kids love you no matter what.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So, when you give a reading, I guess, is that what it's called? And when you go into the records, because I can feel you're getting pushed with energy because you're starting to go in a trance. So when I can feel like you're starting to go a little.
You could call it that. Yeah, when I'm working with a client, I would definitely I refer to them as private reading and healing sessions, because there is so much energy that comes in. When I'm doing a reading with someone, they can ask very specific questions about areas of their life where they want guidance, healing, insight, advancement, up-leveling. There's also energy that comes in. If there's something that spirit needs to talk to you about and you didn't write that down on your paper to ask, it's going to come through. So when I'm working with clients, that's the kind of information exchange that happens. How it happens is interesting. There are sometimes when I'm translating the information and it's coming through in a very Emily kind of way. And then there are times when I go into more like I step aside and spirit will just start speaking through me in a channeled form. And usually when that happens, like my pace will pick up, my speed will pick up, and they'll just start talking really fast. And since I know that that's what's happening now, I'll generally let the client know, okay, this is direct message coming in and it's going to be fast. So just get what you can. It's why I always record my sessions too, because there's so much energy, so much healing, so many layers of knowledge that come in. It's really valuable to go back and review a week later or 2 weeks later, because you'll get a whole nother session out of it. You get a whole nother layer of knowledge and healing. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So I was getting distracted by spirit. In your class, do you double link?
I don't know what that is.
So if we were to step in together, kind of like a guided meditation, and so us kind of closing our eyes, stepping in each other's energy, holding hands, and stepping into the realm, the deeper realm of the ethers and the consciousness together, and it's like double linking, kind of, they talk about it, mediumship. Do you guys do any of that?
Yes. I guess we do however many people show up that day, Ankin, because at the end of our class, we always all go in and open the records together, and it creates that substantial space when as a collective, we are coming together and accessing that. And yes, it is absolutely powerful. We also, in my own class, when I was going through this process, we would do an opening of like one person in the middle, and all of the readers around would open that person's records. And it's really interesting because different vessels, different channels bring in different information. And it's based on, you know, how they can only, I shouldn't say only, because I'm getting much better when I can just relax and let them speak through me. They can speak about things that are beyond my experience and beyond my knowledge. But when you're first learning, most of the time, they use your basis of experience in life and your basis of knowledge to communicate. So obviously we've all been through different things. So the information isn't necessarily wrong because it's different, but it's going to show up through different channels in different ways. So that was a really interesting thing to experience. What we do in my Akashic Records course is that we all open our own individual records collectively in that space. And as we are doing that in that space, we are in the space of each other's energy and records and ancestors as well. So in the records, we have our masters, teachers, loved ones, and guides, including ascended masters, archangels, any high-powered light being that is here to assist you, you're going to be able to locate in that space. So when we come together opening that space, we all have access to the giant collective of beings who are showing up associated with each one of our own individual expressions. And it gets really powerful. It's very fun.
That's awesome. Somebody asked, what crystal are you holding in your hand?
I am holding 2 violet flame agates. Nice. They're awesome. Nancy Louise found these for me.
That's awesome.
And I have one in each hand. And I have a variety of things here on my desk right now. Of course, I got a crystal ball on my desk. Because you got to have a crystal ball. I got a pyramid. I got a tuning fork. These are one of my favorite things too here. These are some counting beads that I made, mala beads, to help me keep track of chanting that I do. Awesome. These are made of pearls and Larimar. Whipped them up for myself one day. Whipped up myself a little energetic tool. And you know what? I like to repurpose a lot of things. This was actually, it was a repurposed necklace and some beads that I had. I have a lot of sound healing things here. I have chimes. These I made with pearl, so they've got pearl inside too, so that divine feminine energy resonates. I made these out of the last wind chime I had that broke. So I really encourage you guys, if you are light workers, if you like dabbling in these energies and really increasing your frequency, this is a real, like, using divination tools like this are a really fun way that you can increase your vibrational frequency, which opens up more access, right?
Definitely. So somebody, I know the comments are going by so fast I can't keep up with them, but somebody asked where are you located first? Carrie wants to know, where are you located?
I recently made a huge move from the Los Angeles area where I was for about 20 years. And we are now right outside of Lake Tahoe. So specifically, I'm in Reno, Nevada, but I work all over the world. The sessions and the classes, everything that I do are conducted online. And I do teaching here locally, and I do speaking events. But in terms of one-on-one sessions and classes, you don't have to be in my town to do that. We do all of that through the internet, which is such an awesome way for all of us to be connected. But I just want to share with you guys quickly, Lake Tahoe, for those of you who don't know, and this was relatively new knowledge for me. I think I acquired this knowledge maybe somewhere around 2012. But Lake Tahoe is one of the most powerful vortexes on the planet. And, you know, when we think of energy vortexes, we think of Sedona, we think of the pyramids. There are so many around. And I invite you guys to dive in and do research about where the vortexes are that are close to you, because there are so many more than we recognize. This one in particular holds the energy, the Kundalini energy of Mother Earth, which again is that divine feminine energy. It is that
Mm-hmm.
magical energy that is waking us up, that ascension energy that is expanding us into our multidimensional selves. It rises up from the center of the earth and touches the surface of the planet. Only two places in North America. That is Lake Tahoe, and the other is Kauai. But as it touches the surface in Lake Tahoe, programs all of that water. That water flows down the river, the Truckee River, to Pyramid Lake, where the Kundalini energy then goes back down underground and winds down around underground again until it comes back up to the surface in Kauai. But I feel very honored to be in this place doing my spiritual work. It was my husband's job that drew us here. And synchronistically, it is just the perfect spot for me to be doing this work. And like I said, I feel so honored to be a steward of this space of the planet.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't think a lot of people knew that. So if I go by, I'll have to stop by and visit you.
Yeah. Well,
I come by.
We'll go to a meditation together at the lake.
Oh gosh, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, I'm a water sign, so I'm all about the water. I'm like, yes, I'm a water baby. So, somebody asked, what kind of information can you get in the records?
Anything that you can ask. You think of the records as like the internet, okay? And when we go in and ask questions, it's like plugging a question into Google. So the question that you ask is really important. As you know, if you are trying to research something on the internet, the more specific you get, the more that Google can bring you the information that you're looking for, right? Mm-hmm. So any area of your life that you want to understand more dynamically the patterns, why you keep repeating the same thing, they're really fantastic for asking about life purpose and what your skills are. Now, they're not, life purpose is something that is a sacred discovery for every person. And they're saying that right now in this moment to me. And they're also saying, okay, make sure that you break down what my definition and difference is of life purpose and life mission. Your only purpose is to be happy here on the planet, is to be happy and peaceful, right? Many of us come with a mission to help expand ourselves and help expand the planet. That is a sacred journey that no one else can tell you what it is. So if you want to know what your life mission is and you think you're going to show up and be like, what's my life mission? And you want me to just plop it out to you. It doesn't work like that. You have to do the work to get there. But
right,
the records can open up the areas where you might be afraid to look, or you might be blocked, or maybe you have subconscious programs running about yourself where you don't believe that you deserve that for whatever reason. Maybe the reason is a paradigm of belief that you took on in childhood because you got scolded in a public setting that made you so embarrassed and, crumple inside, which we bury and forget, but very easy to see and find that in the records. And there are certain protocols that we can do to shift that energy, to hold light that has an effect forward and backward through time in a way that our linear minds don't understand. So we just have to kind of breathe into it, feel that ripple effect. Really, there's nothing that you can't ask in the space of the Akashic Records. Healing, understanding why we've taken on density that has caused physical dis-ease or emotional dis-ease in our life. We can understand why. We can understand how it's serving us to hang on to that, because truthfully, if it wasn't serving you in some way, you would let it go.
Right.
Being able to have access to that knowledge is pretty powerful, right? But right. I still don't do any of the healing for anybody. I hold the space for you to recognize what you need to recognize to shift and release that. And because I've done this work, not only, well, I say for a while, it's only been truthfully since 2015 when I became certified. So things have happened very quantumly for me. There's a part of me that recognizes I've been doing this for a very long time in this body, in this incarnation, as well as many others. But because I've taken that time and created this space to make this a priority in my life, I hold powerful energy for people to expand in just the way that they need to expand. I'm not expanding them in the same way that I did, but I'm holding the space and giving them access and understanding of how to locate and interpret all of the knowledge and healing they're ever going to need in their life. But they have to use it. It's like teaching you how to drive, right? I'm here to teach you how to drive and then hand you the keys. I'm not here to teach you how to drive and then be a damn chauffeur for the rest of your life, right?
Doesn't work like that.
Don't work like that, right? Give you a fish, teach you to fish.
Right.
Yes.
So what's your mission here on Earth? As everyone's asking for their life purpose and their mission, what's yours?
My purpose and mission? One thing that I feel very connected to, and this is one way, guys, that you can start to figure out kind of where yours are, because on a bigger scale, it's to bring through the Akashic Academy and be that vessel that starts this movement and brings it through. It's going to take a lot of the rest of y'all having the same mission, because our mission is so big, because we see eventually having headquarters, grounds where we have fully sustainable villages and meditation retreats. And here where I am geographically, John Muir trails are all over the place. We want to do pilgrimages similar to Camino de Santiago, although we probably won't walk for 6 weeks. But we want to create these experiences for people. We want to travel with the hosts of the network. And we want to go to different cities and take teachings and do conferences. We want to take people on retreats other places in the world. That is specifically the physical structure and vision of the Akashic Academy, the energy behind that. And this is, like I said, one area where I feel really drawn is to shift the way abundance works on the planet. My abundance has been jacked up my whole life. I'm like an accordion. I'll go from a lot, then nothing, and then a lot, and then nothing. I mean, there were times in Hollywood I'd bust a move and there's money rolling in, like showing up in residual checks, thousands of dollars in my mailbox. I'm like, oh, here's another check. Here's another check. And to be perfectly honest and vulnerable with you guys, I've been on food stamps before.
Right.
I've been so assed out. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to buy food for my kids.
Right.
So that is not fun. I'm learning how to make that energy smooth in my life. I'm learning how to tune into the abundance that's everywhere. And I want to create that opportunity, share that opportunity with other light workers. I want to shift what we put our attention on in terms of what we value. I want to create space where people can value knowledge and advancement, and they value compassionate, peaceful society. I want to make those shifts for people. I want to create a space where people experience harmony like never before. I've gone from that place of feeling really unfulfilled and like not a part of the cool crowd. You know, in Hollywood, one of my biggest jobs that I ever got, I got fired from, and it sucked. And I was replacing a really popular character on a soap opera. And soap operas, just like you see on TV, like all of the actors and the real people behind that are enmeshed as a family. And this very popular character who they love left, and here I come in, and they tried to accept me, but it wasn't a nice fit, and I felt really uncomfortable. So I know what it's like to feel like that. I want people to feel like they have a space to come and to get big, but they have the vulnerability to do it in a way that, you know, is compassionate and connected. I want people to feel that in their lives. I want people to feel what it's like to smack a home run out of the park when you step up to bat, you know? So those are the things that I feel really, really drawn and empowered by in terms of my own mission. And to ever really integrate a mission or a new timeline or a shift in your life, you've got to have the awareness that that too may change and shift.
Yep. Constantly shifting.
Yeah.
Yep. Grow, grow, grow.
Mm-hmm.
I had one teacher tell me, as soon as you get comfortable, your spirit's going to shift you. As soon as you get comfortable, spirit's going to shift you. And that has been my spiritual journey. As soon as I got comfortable, they shift and they add something and they add something and they add something.
So what's your latest
So
cycle been?
healing. Shamanic healing with indigenous people and channeling their energy and doing high sacred healing. So I talked about it a little bit on Fantastic Fridays, but lots of healing, opening, activating, expanding light workers to their greatest spiritual gifts.
Yeah, I love.
I know, right?
Because it takes all of us, right? It takes all of us.
And that's what I've always said on my videos. It takes a team of light workers to change the vibration of the planet, not just one. So, and it's been, because that's kind of how I started. I was just channeling and giving readings, and people that's been on my page here, they've been with me kind of from the beginning. A lot of people have, and Patty's the one who actually kind of received one of my healings, because I haven't announced it officially yet. There's a lot of healing that's coming to the page, adding to. I always say adding to, and when I got the healing from Metatron and the Merkaba and the cube, I started that was given to me. Another sacred healer gave that to me and said, this is what you need to use. And then it just evolved. A year ago, evolved again. During the 11/11, got another transmission, another DNA activation, and it's been continuously growing. So, yeah, so I keep channeling and opening up and expanding. So I like to work, and I guess let me back up because Spirit's interrupting. I guess I really didn't realize until my show in San Diego. And then a lot of people have messaged me and said, what happened? Like, all of a sudden I'm having these more psychic abilities. I'm having all this, like, I feel expanded. And I was like, oh, okay. So I like sprinkle and then leave. I'm a sprinkler and leave, because I said it. I'm just kind of the teacher, the guider, the mentor, and then you're the vibration. You set the seeds and kind of, so that's kind of where I've been, constantly evolving and changing and growing. So thank you, Kim. Yeah, so there's a lot of my one-on-one clients on here, and so I do life mentoring and all that. So yeah, it's been dropping bombs and leaving. Yes, I have a tendency to do that. I said drop spirit bombs, information, energy, and then I'm out. So yeah, it's that's why I love. That's why I asked about double linking in the academy, because I noticed when I do this with my clients, and we did this in San Diego, Karen was also there, the expansion, when you come together and you open the channels and you sit in energy, is absolutely phenomenal.
Yes. And I love that you've circled back around to this, because I make my clients, I don't make them, I invite them and they participate, because, you know, when people show up to work with you, they're ready to do whatever you do. I'm walking them through the process of actually, it's not just me opening the records, they're moving through, there's a very certain and specific ceremonial process that we go through to shift our energy field so that we can access that higher frequency very easily. And in the beginning, when I first started doing this for clients, I did it the way I was taught, to be perfectly honest with you. I did the prayer from Linda Howe, which is a really awesome prayer. I love it. And so we do acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, protection, and courage to know the truth as it is revealed for our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. Oh, Holy Spirit of God, protect me from all forms of self-centeredness and direct my attention to the work at hand. Help me to don't blah, 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 blah. Okay? That's what I learned. What was given to me was a process of moving the other person who I was working with into that state and doing, what is it called? It's not called double dipping, double inking. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? So
well, yeah, I've always, part of it is, double linking. I don't use language, so I just kind of,
That, it works for me. See, I didn't understand that's what I was doing and setting up with those words, with that vocabulary that you just shared with me when it was coming through me. But intuitively, it came through me. And I definitely recognize that is for the purpose of expanding the energy, expanding the channel. It makes it easier for the person who I'm working with. It makes it easier for me to read their energy, first of all. And it makes it easier for them to receive not only healing and shifting within their own vibrational energy field, but also to receive their own messages. I always tell my clients that you're in this space too. So notice any messages that come in for you, even if it's different from what I say, or if you're thinking something and then I say the same thing and I validate it, but just have that level of awareness that you're receiving energy and knowledge and up-leveling in this process, as well as listening to what's coming through me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love working and expanding with other light workers. The vibration and the magnitude is fantastic. So that's why I love doing this and inviting people on. And why do I have low battery? I'm like, is this not charging? Don't you love that? So, yeah. All right. Now I have low battery. I don't know why. I'm all charged in. So let me make sure that this is charged. I'm like, what the heck? Okay. So how can people get in contact with you? How can people set up a private reading? Are you feeling overwhelmed with energy?
No, I'm not. I'm feeling really good with energy. I mean, I feel a lot of it moving. I always love to have my tools just close, and this is the vibrational frequency of Om, so just plugging it back in. The best way to get a hold of me and the fastest way to get a hold of me is send me a private message. I'm really accessible. I do get lots and lots and lots of messages. So if it takes me 24 hours to get back to you, but I will, definitely. Private messages are the first thing that I go to. Leaving comments here, I like to go back and check in with comments. But really, like I said, track me down. Go right to send me a message, and I will receive it with open arms. I'm very accessible in that way. You can always go to theakashicacademy.com. All the information of booking a reading, classes, getting on our email list. We have an awesome magazine. You guys can download the magazine. We have free psychic workshops on there. It's like a psychic playground fair. So go to theakashicacademy.com, play around, look around at what's on there. Lots of really cool freebies. And send me a private message. Even if you're like, I don't really know if I want a reading, please just send me a private message. Say hello. Say that we met here today. And you can check out all of the shows that we have going on. I'll plug you right into all of the healing and the insight that we have available.
Awesome. And does a magazine, is it just online, or does it come like through the
mail? It is just a downloadable magazine. It is a quarterly magazine, and we just released our fall issue, our October through December issue, and it is phenomenal.
Yay! And how much is it to get the magazine?
The magazine right now is free.
Oh, wow.
Yes, the magazine.
Why not? Everybody, you got to sign up for that.
Free. So make sure that you go and check that out. I just really couldn't be more proud of our editor, Bridget Sloan. She knocked it out of the park. She created something that I am so proud to share with people. So it's beautiful to look at. She's actually a graduate of my program, Learning to Read the Akashic Records. She's also a professional magazine editor, and she's now our magazine editor. The energy that she built this magazine with is so powerful. The knowledge of the contributing writers that we have is so amazing. Like, guys, you got to check it out. It is good stuff. And we're constantly doing events and trainings too. We actually have one coming up this Friday. So
okay, because I'm hearing, Spirit keeps telling me, ask her about what event is coming up, and I'm like, okay, so you have an event coming up? Like, I keep getting. But I feel like you're having something in December. So what's going on in December? Because Spirit keeps bringing me to December.
Okay, well, we have let me see what is going on in December, because Spirit, you jumped ahead too far on me.
Sorry.
No, you know what? I know what it is. We have a lot of opportunities and trainings coming up. This Friday, we're doing an event, how to produce your own online show. Okay. 2 weeks later, we got another event, another very cool training, which is going to teach you what you need to know to create your own online mastermind course. I am going to be taking no more than 10 spiritual teachers and coaches and healers through the process in real time of creating their first online mastermind course. Because and that's one of the things that I feel called to do in terms of shifting abundance and teaching light workers how we use the current 3D system, this current, while we're still using money as an exchange. I really feel like that will be shifting. Probably, I don't know at what point it will shift. I think that we will go back to more of an energetic exchange at some point. But while we are still using this monetary structure to live our lives, I want to teach light workers how to create courses, because showing up and just doing readings, which I learned through experience, isn't really enough to sustain your lifestyle, especially if you have kids. Now, I'm not a single mom. I have a husband who makes takes good care of us, right? But there are a lot of light workers out there who've been through really extreme transition in their life, and they're single moms or they're single dads, or who cares if you're single or not? We all need to make more money so that life is easier, so that we can stand in our mission in a bigger way. So for me, teaching other light workers how to use the knowledge and skills that they already have to create repeatable income in terms of a class, as well as be able to reach more of an audience with your time, right? One-on-one sessions are tremendously powerful, but if you feel like you've got a big mission and you feel like you've got people to get to, getting on the platform of hosting your own show is a huge audience builder, right? Being able to teach classes and to be able to teach a lot of students at the same time is a powerful use of your energy, and they benefit too because of that collective energy that Tanya and I have been talking about, because of what we've been talking about. So in December is when we actually finish that mastermind process. And by the new year, those 10 light workers that are working with me will have their course ready to launch, completely ready to launch, from content to marketing to understanding all of the pieces that you need. And I felt like walking teachers and healers through it in real time was important. Like, I don't want to just teach you how to do this. No, we're going to get it done. We're going to do it together. So that's something that I'm really, really excited about, and that's happening in December.
Yay! That's exciting, and they can just go on to the website.
Yeah, just stay tuned. I mean, we release our events in an order so that we don't overwhelm you guys. We seriously have, over the next course of Fridays, every other Friday, Nick and I are going to just bring our A game in terms of training, in terms of giving this information. We recognize that as we continue to grow and expand, we got to show up big too.
Right.
It's not just about growing the academy, it's about growing ourselves, and it's about holding ourselves to that that standard of, hey, bring it. People need this knowledge. Do what it takes to share it with them and make it fun.
That's awesome. So jumping ahead, how much is the course, in case people are like, okay, I need to budget and, you know, start getting them that?
If you want to start budgeting for that course is $1,000. And that takes you through the entire 4-week process of building the course start to finish. And
that's awesome.
Pricing of your course is also something that I want to talk to them about, because so many light workers tend to undervalue themselves. My plan is to not only help you hold that space of value, but teach you how to offer that value in a way that people are excited to show up. And my goal is to give every teacher and healer that works with me the skills to sign up enough students with their first course that they make their investment back for taking the course with me on how to create the mastermind. And again, it's
an energy exchange. It's extremely important.
And this is a repeatable protocol, which is one thing that energy healers that we need to understand is the mastery of our own time and energy. It is a way that we release ourselves from our own time constructs and our own time locks. And this is a very practical application of how we can release time as it's been locking us up in our lives by understanding concepts, very practical application of concepts like this. figure out how to use your time to its highest benefit.
Yep. I love it. I love it. And it also teaches you your self-value and how do you value yourself. So it's a struggle I've had to do all year. So I can speak because I walked in those shoes and I had to do this myself. So I completely understand that.
Me
That's
too.
fantastic.
And you know what, Spirit? I did too. I started out, my readings were $50, and everybody got a friend and family discount. So they were $40. And I was drained. And my reading started to not be as sharp. And I'm like, what's going on here? And they're like, you're devaluing the whole process. And they began to tell me, where you set the value is the value that you allow your client to show up and experience.
Yes.
You got to learn to see this in a multidimensional way. You're coming at it from this limping in feeling of lack, right?
Yep.
And so all of those ideas have to change. So as soon as somebody values themselves to show up enough to take a class with me or to do a session with me, the healing's already started, I have to say, because you have just shown an amount of value and self-love for yourself that a lot of people will hesitate to do. And then once they start doing it, they're like, oh man, that felt good.
Yep. That's what I said in all my classes. I said, congratulations, you said yes to yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Yay! How exciting! Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of your guys' adventure. I'm excited that I know I haven't really announced it.
I'm not going to tell you that news. Did you tell that news?
I'm like, I haven't announced. I like how you speed up and went really slow. Yeah, I haven't really announced it yet. So, but yes, I have. Yes, you guys have extended the hand, and I have graciously accepted. And I know, and I've joined the network, so my show will be up probably the 1st of November. So Nick and I had our first kind of talk yesterday. So 1st of November is what around the 1st of November is what we're working on. So yeah, I will be joining the network. You guys can see my show there. Yes, I'm super excited. So thank you guys for extending the hand and offering it. I'm super excited to be a part of an amazing, I want to say movement.
Yeah, it is movement. And we are specifically holding the space for those that like light us up like you do. Like it's a no-brainer. I mean, when we feel that resonance of people with the growth mindset and that love and that compassion and wanting expansion, it is like, soul family, come here, let's figure out how to do this. And for all of you out there who are watching right now, you're here watching right now for a reason. And all of you may not feel comfortable getting out on your own show and on a big stage, or you damn well might. I don't know. Each of our individual job is to raise our own frequency and vibration, and that shifts every single thing around us, every person, every situation, all the dynamics around us. So even if you don't feel called to be up on a big stage, you're still being called to do the work. Especially if you're here watching right now, you are here because you are expanding, and because that family connection and that space of compassion is what creates the environment for your highest potential and your highest growth.
Yep. And that's why I like this, as we are, teachers, and we come on here and we do this. There's 40 of you guys watching, and the numbers have been fluctuating, but then if you guys and go touch 2 and multiply that, that's how the movement starts. That's how the vibration changes through your words and your actions, and moving into your heart center and following your guidance is how we start changing the environment. So
I just want to share with everybody quickly, because many of you guys are new and it's so fun to connect with you. This network that we're talking about, this Akashic Academy network where all of our shows are, it's right here on Facebook. You don't even have to go to our website to plug into our network. It's right here on the Akashic Academy public Facebook page. And that's where you're going to find all of these daily shows that all these energy healers that we are partnering with and creating platforms for and hosting shows for, right on the Akashic Academy here on Facebook. That's where your show will premiere in November. And I actually have a show later today on the network. We have a really good lineup on Wednesday. I think we have 5 shows.
Oh, wow.
And they're all back to back, which mine and Nick's goal and the inspiration behind creating the network was to do like a positive CNN where we have 24/7 programming running. So this stretch that we have on Wednesday, this 5-show stretch where they're all back to back, is that first small chunk of that pattern, first small chunk of that link. And we have shows that run every single day of the week, but that's our longest stretch of back-to-back programming. And we're excited to allow this to become a template for what it is that we will eventually create. But I do live on-air Akashic record readings and healings. Everybody gets the healing. Only some of you get the private reading and they're mini readings because we're on air and it's only a 30-minute show. But I do allow the audience to ask questions and I give a personal answer. And then we do a healing for that particular subject and everybody gets access to that energy. So that happens, I got low battery too. That happens later today at noon Pacific time. So if you guys want to come hang out and check out what it feels like to get a little Akashic energy and maybe even a reading, come hang out.
Definitely. And you guys, the link is below where I said that Emily's links are there. You guys just go over to their Facebook page, the Akashic Academy, like and follow their page and get notified when they are live so you can continue seeing amazing light works transform and heal the world. Emily, thank you so much for being my guest, bringing your knowledge, bringing your light, and bringing your love to not only to my page, but to the world. Thank you for your dedication to every single human and child that you touch. Thank you so much for being you. And I'm excited for our future adventures.
Me too. Oh, I just got chills down my body.
Say what?
I just got like a chills down my body.
Well, that was channeled from them. So, continuing the thank you from my team and beyond. So thank you for everything you do. And I'm excited and we will talk soon. You guys have a fantastic Wednesday. Bye, you guys check her out later today and we'll talk soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye.